squared, right? So for our area formula for a square, we're going to think about it as S squared, where that S represents your side. Then how do we find perimeter? Add all the sides together. Since all the sides are the same, we could just multiply it by 4 instead of adding it 4 times. How do we find the area of a rectangle? Well, you guys learned this in like 3rd grade. Area of a rectangle. Length times width. There we go. Now to find the perimeter of a rectangle, you just add up all the sides. But instead of taking length plus length, we just condense that to 2 times the length. Those are L's, by the way. And instead of doing W plus W, we just condense it together and say 2W. But if you just add up all the sides, you're going to get to the same answer if you don't use that formula. How do we find the area of a triangle? Yeah, do you know why it's 1/2 base times height?
Like the top is, like it's not.
Right now we have a, what?
What was the square perimeter?
4S.
Thank you.
If I think about my rectangle being length times width, and instead of length, I think about that as base, and I think instead of width, I think about it as being height. If I cut a diagonal through there, now how many triangles did I create? 2. So the area of both triangles is base times height, so the area of just one triangle would be 1/2 base times height. That's where it comes from for your area formula for a triangle. So for a triangle, our area formula is 1/2 base times height. Would it be incorrect to take base times height and then multiply it by 0.5? No. Would it be incorrect to take base times height and divide it by 2? No. Those all mean the same thing. And then for the triangle perimeter, you just add up all 3 sides.
That one's pretty easy.
Yeah. For all the triangles, or all the shapes, you just add them all up. Alright, so we're going to skip circle. We'll go to circle on Monday. So skip down to our first example. Here we have what type of shape? Rectangle. We need to find the perimeter of that rectangle. So if you like to think about perimeter as just adding up all the sides, you could just take 50 plus 84 plus 50 plus 84 in your calculator and get a number. Or we could plug it into our formula to find perimeter. Perimeter is equal to 2 times my length.
I would for the first one.
Then do it. And then 2 times 50. So 2 times 50 is 100. 84 doubled is 168. Adding that together gets you 268. For perimeter, how should you label your units? Yeah, here it's just feet. Because if I added 84 feet plus 84 feet, I'm going to have, I already got there, I got 168 feet. Okay, so make sure you label it with feet. If there ever is a problem where they don't give you dimensions, so if they just say 50, 84, 84, and 50, you use a generic U. So if, you might want to put a little star here, if no units given, use a U.
But why?
Because it just stands for units.
Well, what if it isn't in units? What if it's saying cookies?
Then you would say cookies. If it gives you units, then you say the units. If it doesn't give you any units, then you should put a U there for units. Okay?
Will it ever be a problem where we have to find out what the units are?
No. Area. How do we find area? Length times width. So all we have to do is multiply those 2 numbers together. Let me do my mental computation. Boop, 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 boop. Is it 4,200?
Yep, 4,200.
What are your units for area?
Feet
Yeah,
squared.
feet squared. So whenever you're talking about, okay, Dominic, you need to stop, or U squared. Thank you for saying that, but you need to stop talking without being asked to talk. So for feet, an area, we have to do feet squared, because if you take feet times feet, it's the same as x times x, and x times x is x squared. So feet times feet is feet squared. U times U is U squared. Kilometers times kilometers is kilometers squared. So whenever you're dealing with area, you just put your units squared. Okay? All right, so let's pause here. For your homework, you're going to have to do coordinate geometry. So please turn to this example in your notes. It's on the back page in the middle. So we've got a triangle, QRS, that we need to plot on a coordinate plane. So let's make a quick
Pretty simple.
coordinate plane. 1, 2, 3, Dominic, stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, make a nice quick graph there for yourself.
You go over and up or up and over?
Over and up. So if I were to plot point Q at 1, 2, I'm going to go to the right 1 unit and up 2 units. Label it as Q. R is at 4, 6. So I'm going to go to the right 4, up 6. And S is at 5, 2. So I'm going to go to the right 5, up 2. And I'm going to connect to make a triangle. Yours looks like a Hershey kiss. Question is asking what the perimeter of this triangle is. Well, do I know the length of the bottom side? Yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 units, right? So we know that QS is equal to 4. Do I know the length of QR? Can I count it using units? No, because it's a slant. So what are we going to have to use from our last test to find the length of line segment QR? Not midpoint. Distance formula, yes. So using my points for Q and R, it's going to be minus my x's for Q and R, so 1 minus 4 squared, minus my y's, which is 2 and 6 squared. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. 4 squared is 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. So we know that QR is 5. Now we have to do the same thing for RS. Yeah. Would be long problems. So if you do RS, coordinates for R, so 4 minus 5 squared plus 6 minus 2 squared. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16. So we get the square root of 17. Now, in this case, if I'm talking perimeter, I would add 4 plus 5. That's easy. That's 9. But what's 9 plus the square root of 17? It would be 9 plus the square root of 17. If I wanted you to go out and run 9 plus the square root of 17 miles, would you know what I'm talking about? No. So when we're talking about something like perimeter, let's round the square root of 17 using our calculators. So type in the square root of 17, which is approximately 4.1. So what's 9 plus 4.1?
13.
Yeah, so my perimeter is about 13.1. We don't have any feet, inches, or anything, so I'm going to put the generic U for units.
Is it an actual range of half marathon?
Yeah, I didn't plan that.
What just happened?
Look at you go.